Welcome to FCC Supporter Square, the show for fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Matt Warman, Boston Brazel, and Mark Suffin.
Welcome to yet another instance of FCC Supporter Square, the show for fans, by fans, about fans, and we're going to have some fans at some point this season, I promise. Otherwise, we're just like everybody else. But we aren't like everybody else because I have my ride or die, Mark Suffin. How you doing, Mark?
Doing just great. Doing just great. It was a wonderful time up in Columbus, and the Bailey on tour was rearing to go and went 90 minutes plus. And happy to bring back a point, but yeah, it looked pretty good for a little while there. But yeah, a lot more to talk about with that.
Yes, and we'll get into that. But really, what I want to know, because I think this is where everybody talks about, like, oh, well, it was a road point, and here's the game, and blah, blah, blah. But we try to bring other perspectives. So I have been to lowercut.com, and I've been to away matches. So tell the listeners what it's like pre-gaming and how this is different than other away matches. Obviously, it's a rivalry and it's close, but tell us what we missed.
Well, first off, you missed a pretty cool bus ride up. Uh, Supporters across the plane of support. I'll just say that because you had the young and the experienced, like myself, and everyone in between. You had fathers and sons. You had just young people, older people, but older people that didn't act like they're older people. So it was a great trip up. Obviously, saw the Hell is Real sign. That was a requirement. And then over at Gasworks, it was a pretty ruckus time. Chance around all the time, and was just a great experience. I didn't participate in the march, but the march was strong, as you saw the video of that on FC Cincinnati. Uh, and then just behind me there, the 90 minutes plus that the group did was just fabulous. Great job, everybody that coordinated it, chanted, and just kept everything going. Obviously, our Andrew was very strong that day. David Ziegler, he did a wonderful job as well, getting everybody together, and it was just a perfect day. You couldn't ask for a better day. Wasn't hot, wasn't cold. It was just amazing all the whole day.
And that's great. No rain, just plenty of sun and lots of soccer. And that's how it goes, right? So typical away match is that you kind of hang out in the city, you might find some place to eat. But this is Columbus, and it's a drive, so it's more of a business trip than it is kind of a holiday. It's a holiday and a business trip, usually on away days, but this is a special away day, and that the front office had some buses available that made it really special. On to the game. Now, I was at a wedding, so I was told in no uncertain terms to be present, to be at the wedding, particularly the reception, which I was. Although I get a notice 6 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, where's the video? I need the video.
Yeah.
Once I got the video, I showed it to some nephews who were excited for me, which is always nice to have people like excited for me. And then I put it away, did some stuff. Then I heard some notifications and substitutions. Then I saw another goal. Later, I did get a chance to catch the replay, but that first goal must have been insane.
You could definitely say that. It's something you don't expect. But with this team this year, there's just so much. You can look back and say, we didn't expect that. We didn't expect Evander to do that. We didn't expect Denke to do that. And what a combination of we didn't expect that. with Orishano getting down the field, uh, eventually getting it over to Evander for a well, just a spectacular bicycle kick that was kind of left of left of frame. But guess who was right there, Johnny, on the spot? Denke, who just slotted it, and it's just you looked at the guy next to you and go, how they do that? It was just amazing. So yeah, this team continues to amaze, and that goal was proof.
I thought that's one of the reasons. I mean, I love. There's so many little things I love about this team, but I love Evander. Instead of saying, "Yeah, I saw it and I did the bicycle kick," he came out after the game and said, I was shooting on goal. I just missed. And it just happened to be Denke was there.
Yeah,
That's what I like. I mean, he could have just said, yeah, I saw it and blah, blah, blah. And nobody would have challenged him on that. But he said, oh, I was shooting and I shot it so bad I went to Denke. But it was still amazing. And it looked like it was planned. But then after the 6 minute, things kind of settled down and changed direction. And, all sports have a key, right? If you're watching American football, you're watching the line of scrimmage. You're watching the big boys up front. It's not the defensive backs or the wide receivers. It's the defensive line and offensive line that make a difference. In soccer, it is the midfield. Um, from what I saw on obviously I didn't get to watch all of the game yet, but I did get to watch kind of the replays. It looks like we've lost midfield for large stretches of that. We kind of parked the bus. I don't know if that's Noonan or other things. So what were your thoughts on that, particularly in the second half?
well, I looked at um, sort of a period where Orishano kind of went down, but he stayed in the game. It looked like he took a knock, and he took a good minute or two to get up, and he sort of gutted it out. But you just saw at that time, we almost looked like we were playing with 10 instead of 11. Uh, I'm not going to say park the bus because you just don't do that in the 30th minute. That's an hour to go in that kind of scenario. But as I talked to many in the supporter section, this was not how we started the match. The first 25 minutes or so, we were on the front foot. We were attacking. We were, making them make mistakes, and you just saw that shut down. Um, I can't imagine it was Noonan, but you just saw a difference in play immediately, and it didn't quit. You hope that in the second half that maybe some different faces would come in. That kind of happened, but it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. But it just we survived, and one fluke goal that they got, they can't eat. Columbus didn't even score from regular play. That just says a lot to Miles Robinson, U.S. men's national team Miles Robinson, and the rest of the defense that just hung in there and brought home a point. I give that to the defense. They did an amazing job all match.
And that's what you need to do as excited as we get about these rivalry games. We got a point on the road with the number 3 team in the Supporter Shield and the Eastern Conference, right? They are our heated rivals, but they're also one of the top teams. They and Philadelphia are showing, and Nashville is beginning to get into form as well, right? It always takes 10 or 12 matches to see who's who. And there's still some teams that, Orlando might get their act together or whatever. But this is a top team. This was a tough test. It was a road test. We ended up getting a point. And like you said, we scored in run of play. They did not. And that's important.
Yep.
So there's all kinds of things, interesting things. We've got Orlando coming up, but I heard the rumor mill is running rampant with Orishano possibly going to La Liga MX with Cruz Azul. before I give my opinion, I'd love to hear what you think.
Well, you've got Orishana, who really wowed uh, everyone who watched him play last year. Certainly this year, it's been a different Luca Orishano. Uh, don't exactly know why, but he's playing in a different area on the field. But you just looking at a player that has really high value, can see the field, can basically do almost what he wants with the ball. Um, he's not an overpowering player, but he's smart enough that he will get the job done wherever he's on the field. So yeah, this is unfortunately, the revolving door has been, pretty almost worn out at this point, with players coming in and within a couple of years they're going out. In many cases to a better environment. You won't say it's higher. Acosta certainly didn't raise his level, and but it's just what it's been, the last 2 or 3 years for our club.
It's something that fans of this team have to get used to. If you are good, you have good players, better leagues, and we are not the best league. MLS is not the best league, and it's not because we are trying to be the best that we can, but we are not the best league. And there are people with more money who would like to take our best players and put them in their team so they could be a better team. That's just the nature of this sport, is that if you are a good team, they do that. Philadelphia's been doing it with young players, very young players, and academy players, and they're doing well that way. Look, I don't know if it was a fluke or bad luck, but Orishano's curlers last year, 9 times out of 10 went in. This year, 9 times out of 10, they're hitting the post or going wide. It's just it's a game of inches, and things are off. When he takes a player on one, oftentimes he looks like he can beat him. He gets the space, not making the shot. Would I like him in this offense for the entire season? Yes, I would. But if we trade him, uh, we better get something of value in the summer window as a striker. I would say if you're going to put Yedlin back as wing back, because that's where we are such a stacked team, is that DeAndre Yedlin is not even starting on this team.
Yeah.
That's in a way shocking. If you asked me at the beginning of the year that would happen, I would say no. But Orishano is the better wing back of the two. Uh, we tried him at striker; he wasn't working out. We've tried him at wing back; that's where he needs to be. But if now we need a striker, we could trade him for a striker. Uh, I'm all for it. I'm literally all for it. If we could get we need 3 people on offense. And I'm going to ask you a question because again, I didn't get to see the whole game, but this was like Obi's first game in 6 or 8 weeks, and everybody talks about the chemistry between Danke and Evander, but there's a very important, probably in some cases more important relationship with Evander and Obi. Obi needs to release pressure. Everybody has figured out that we struggle at times with the press. Obi is there to release that pressure, get it to Evander, and he needs to know where Evander is because a bad pass puts us right back in the back foot. How did that relationship look with you on Saturday night?
Um, it didn't really provide a whole lot of highlights. Um, I think Obi being out a bit um, was going to put that relationship sort of was going to bring that back a few steps. Right now, it's just a matter of getting more time with them together. That's what's going to be the solution. Is just to get them to keep working together, keep getting each other used to each other, and it'll come. These are both hardened professionals, and they know their craft. They just need to know how to do it fluently with each other, and that's that's what all it takes. This team is coming together. I'd like to see them really, put forth some effort on Sunday and really make a good showing in Atlanta. We'll just see how that goes. But right now, Obi, I think he's just trying to get his legs under him and back to 100%. We saw the same with Miazga. He didn't come back, world beater. He's still getting his legs under himself too. So we have to give Obi that same thought to make sure that he gets back into the swing of things and gets up to 100%. We've seen him at 100%, and boy, is it strong. So that's what I'm hoping to see here in a few matches.
Speaking of revolving door and national team members, we have Miles Robinson selected for the men's national team camp. I'm not sure when he's leaving, if he left today or tomorrow. I don't know if he's playing in Sunday's game and then going to camp. I can't remember what that is. But having teenage Hadabi back it seems like our timing is finally at least decent. We're going to lose a U.S. men's team member, but we're going to have teenage Hadabi back, and so it's not the three that we want, but it's three that are still fairly strong. We still have Flores as a fourth. I'm happy for him. I'm hoping he does well. I thought I read like 2 or 3 Columbus Crew team members are gone, so maybe they'll drop off a little bit and give an unexpected loss. But kudos to Miles Robinson on being selected. Does it hurt? Yeah, but not as much as it would like last year.
Yeah, just kudos to him. I think he's either second or third in defender caps. Obviously, Tim Ream's the grand marshal of the defense with I don't know, several thousand caps maybe at this point.
He started playing in the 20s, the 1920s.
Yeah, he's closer to my age than most anybody else.
He actually has caps.
Yeah, yeah. So just amazing for Miles. He's continued to just play strong. Looked every bit the part in Columbus. So I do hope he's getting some rest. Before he heads out to play matches, I believe in Nashville and Hartford. Will be the two friendlies they're going to be playing. So it should be a what I saw the team, and it's strong. It doesn't have Captain America, but it's got a very strong team, and I encourage everyone to if they can't attend, to at least watch it to see how they play.
We got to rally around the boys, and hopefully they do well, because World Cup is around the corner, and we want that as well. But we're not U.S. Men's Supporter Square. We're FCC Supporter
Yep.
Square. So our upcoming game is a Sunday match. I thought it was 2 or 2:30, just like they played here. So they played us a couple of weeks ago. We didn't have our full defense. We looked good at times. We looked bad at times, ended up with a 2-2 draw. So we need to get some of those points back and keep our road dominance kind of where it is. Bounce back from this draw from Columbus and do that again. Like I said last week, on paper we're the better team. Can we put it all together? That's what I was unsure of. That's why I said 1-1 draw. So I look like I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I do. Sometimes you get lucky. I think, again, this team is the better team on paper. I know that it's another bouncy field, and FC Cincinnati traditionally has problems with bouncy fields. However, our form has been pretty good in Atlanta. Even our first year, we went down and got a draw. So that particular team and that particular turf frightens me a little bit, but we seem to be able to dominate. I think on paper we're a better team. I think we're at least a 1 goal win. What are your thoughts on this Sunday?
Yeah, 7:30, I believe, is the start down there on Sunday. Yeah, I just see this as a unique opportunity for this team to, honestly speed up their play. I think sometimes, at TQL, the speed is not there. But Atlanta's a team that, in that environment down at Mercedes-Benz, it's fast. It's been fast ever since they broke into the league. And I just think this is our opportunity to sort of open it up a bit, quicken the pace, but not lose control in the same way. So this is an opportunity to really show that they can do that and hopefully collect all 3 points.
I think so. I think that's a very good point. Um, they seem to play better on the road. We do win at home. That's not the case because this is a really good team. But they seem to thrive a little bit on the us against the world type of mentality and seem to be a little more focused. I hopefully that they realize that it felt like that tie against Atlanta felt like a loss to me. I think it felt like a loss to them. So I think they might have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and that we have some more of our pieces than we didn't have before when we played them. Um, will prove to be the difference maker there. So I'm going to say because they've got Almiron and their form isn't good, and I would say a 2-1 game. I think that's what we're looking for. I think we score 1 goal each half. I think we give up a goal somewhere in the middle of one of those two halves. I'm not sure first or second, but just because we're not fully formed on defense or offense yet, but this is one of those games where if we were hitting on all cylinders, this would be I think a multi-goal win. We definitely need to start thinking about goal differential with the other teams that we're playing against. What are your what's your goal prediction? What's your score outcome? Because everybody loves to hear yours, because yours is usually better than mine anyway.
Oh, oh my, yeah. Thanks for that build up. I'm gonna tear that down right now. I'll go
Me
ahead
too.
and I'll go ahead and say 3-2.
3-2.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can
and
see that.
yeah,
It's like you said, they play fast,
yeah,
and I think didn't we play them last year or 2 years ago? And then Lucho kind of had to score 2 goals. We were down a goal
yeah,
early in the second half. He scored two to come back 3-2.
exactly. And I kind of see, I don't see that need. I think we have the ability to score early. So I'm hoping we can get the advantage and then, whatever come what may, 3-2, we can survive down there. I just see an open field, a lot more than it was in Columbus. I can see us, really stretching things. We love to go end to end, side to side, very quickly, and I just see that's going to be accentuated. And I can just see it, 3-2. I wouldn't say that Roman Celentano is going to, give up 2 goals. I'm not going to just say that's going to happen. But a 1 goal victory would be exactly what I think would happen. So
Which lends me to the going back to the U.S. men's team here just for a second, is that Roman was not selected for camp, which for us is great,
yeah,
for us FCC fans. But it's also kind of sad because you're like, okay, what does he have to do? But if you look at that keeper union, I don't know how you. It's probably one of the best times we've had keepers. We've got Matt Turner, and he's probably going to be the starter, and Roman is just, he's playing on his head. He was definitely the man of the match, keeping us with that draw.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting, to see what Roman has to do to because he's had 1 cap, I think. Total in total, he did that uh, multi-match thing last year. I can't remember exactly. 2024 was a little tough on the guy. uh, but
Right.
quality in goal with Freese and Schulte, Zach Steffen, and of course Matt Turner. Four quality guys, and if Roman was to break into that group, he would just be, he would just he's at their level. That's what I'll say.
He's on
Because
the outside looking in, but he is first in line. He's as soon as somebody else either retires or slips a little, he's going to definitely get brought in for his opportunity.
yeah,
It is on one hand sad that he didn't make it for him and for us as fans, but it's also great because we get to keep Roman for the next 6 weeks to try to put some distance between us and Philadelphia and the teams trying to chase us. Particularly, Columbus is missing a defender and a goalkeeper, and they are not the most stellar of defenses. They are good, but they're not in the top five. Or at least I don't think they were. They were giving up a lot of goals, but they were scoring a lot more. That's what I was concerned about. So if they're losing their two key pieces, hopefully a mid-table team can take advantage. You hate to see it that way, but I want to put a star on my kit.
yeah.
So I don't maybe I don't play nice, but I want the star on my chest, and I want this team to hit its stride. So it looks like every week they're getting a little bit better, a little bit better. We are an impatient group here in Cincinnati. You just go to any of the quote fan pages on socials, you will find that there are a lot of impatient people. There are a lot of people unhappy with all sorts of starters and coaches and transactions and things we did and things we didn't do. We're impatient, but be patient. I mean, I said it was going to take a while, and I'm still right because we had a lot more injuries and other things that you just can't see at the beginning of the year. It would be nice that we have the same 11 with the Orishana rumors, whether that's going to come to fruition or not. That's part of this team is that there's always going to be a revolving door. We're not going to have the same 11 starters every year. Otherwise, we'd be fourth or fifth place, and people don't
Yeah.
want our items. That being said, and we're coming up close to the window, and I think we're going to have probably some kind of mid-season special, particularly when we have a break in the action. I feel a bar is coming into play with some. We'll invite some friends and talk about our mid-season. But what do you see now that you've seen this team? What do we need, if anything, during the summer window?
Well, I think our lack of goal differential, I think, is proof that another striker up front. Kevin Denke has proven himself. He's doing the lion's share, but he was brought in for a record amount of money to do just that, and he's doing that. But a man cannot dribble through 11 people. Maradona may have done it once. Acosta definitely did it. But uh,
I was there. That is confirmed. uh, oh, he froze. Okay. For those who are
but
listening,
I
very
just think
curious.
more is needed. More is needed up front.
Yeah, I think you're.
But
I think
anyway,
you're.
think another. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that is the key. Uh, I thought Buka would be doing more. I thought early in the season he was doing more. He was taking more shots. He seemed to be uh, helping out a little bit more. Buka's not tired. I don't think he's falling away anywhere, but I thought he would have a little more impact on the game than he does at times. So I don't want to get a Buka replacement, but maybe a Buka addition would be the only other thing I would think of. But Santos, say what you will, and I've said a lot about him as well. He seems to be a thoroughbred who gets injured a lot. But I saw him at the Chicago game. I saw him at other games this season. He's playing scrappy. He's taking balls away from defenders and making things happen. He is scoring some goals. That is great. I don't know what to do with Corey Baird. I don't think anybody knows what to do with Corey Baird because he was kind of brought in last year as the second striker. Santos has had his chance as second striker, and I don't have a problem with that. But I think we can have more improvement. Denke does so much more than score. When he is man marked on either side, bracket marking,
Yeah.
he's pulling defenders out of the way to allow Evander to do things. It would be great if we had Orishano kind of helping out on that. He's doing that at times, and when he beats people on the wing, we've got that. But it would like really nice to have a striker at the front post, Evander in the middle, and then another striker at the back post, right? At different depths, not literally on the post, move with some movement there. That would so if Denke moves out, then the other striker moves in, somebody else moves into his spot. Now we have a super dynamic, high velocity offense that can really score. I don't know who that person is, but then again, I don't have to worry about it because I am not getting paid to solve that problem. But that's what I see is a probably not 16 million, but we need somebody who knows how to fill that spot as
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think Mueller would be
You
that
don't
second.
want to say, you know, what's that?
Oh, I said I don't think Mueller would be the second striker.
Yeah.
Now, De Bruyne, I might take you as the striker. He doesn't have to play any defense at all. He just has to put the ball in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
take that. Can we have?
Yeah.
Can we make that happen? Then I
That would
think
be
we definitely get a star on.
right.
So, one last thing.
Absolutely.
One last thing before we go is the uh, very happy fall of Miami. What has happened to Inter Miami, right? Just like, oh well, the thing was is if Miami lost, you'd be like, well, Messi wasn't there, right? We beat them 6-1. Well, Messi wasn't there. They're a team. Well, now they're losing with Messi, and then he's berating refs and getting away with it. But I don't know how long that'll take. And pro refs don't care who you are; they'll start making even worse calls to make him angry. What are your thoughts on the ancient Inter Miami, and are you sad at all?
Well, this had to come at some point. It's just surprising. But, when you look at the culmination of players and how long they've been playing this game, you can just see maybe a collective lowering of their ability. You take a player like Nani, who starred at Manchester United and came over to Orlando and scored twice against us a few years back, and then all of a sudden he stopped scoring. And I think collectively you're seeing this with that group: Jordi Alba, Busquets, Messi. It's it was bound to happen, and it's just now that decisions have to be made. I think otherwise, I mean, the front of their season was a gauntlet, and they did pretty well. But right now, I just think the legs are tired, and I just don't see what they can keep playing at that level. It just doesn't look like it's going to go their way this year. I just think a great team. The end has to come sometime, and it's right now.
And, I'm kind of happy because of the way it's not so much that I'm happy because, great career. Who knows what's in store for Messi after this season if he keeps playing or whatever he does. But it's just the way that they got it, the rules that were broken to get that thing, to get it to happen. And then they got all of his friends also outside of the rules. I mean, because FC Cincinnati would spend the money to get, the five DPs if he'd let us.
Yeah.
Not to say that, oh, these are all TAM contracts, wink, wink. But you're right, they're 38, 39 years old. They've played a lot of soccer. There's a lot of young teams in this league. This MLS is not a retirement league anymore. There's a
Yeah.
lot of young stars that will probably play in other leagues in a few years, if not sooner, but are willing to do what it takes to play good defense and take on an icon like Messi and shut him down. That's something that you could see when Messi came here that first year in the Leagues Cup. That game was an outstanding game well, the outcome wasn't because we should have won, but they played their hearts out, and that they want to do that. There's a lot of young guns, the midfielders who want to take him on and make sure that he knows that this is not a retirement league and you can't just score 3 goals like you used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously you look back at MLS history, with Beckham coming over to the Galaxy. More recently, Zlatan came here. Rooney, Schweinsteiger, and now the Messi effect. Thankfully, the league has gotten better. Now, granted, we've added a crap ton more teams, but I believe it's gotten better. I've looked back at, 10, 15 years ago, and I don't see the quality back then that I see now. So I'm happy for this. I think it's definitely become more international. We're getting, players from all over the world. It doesn't matter what league you're from. If you're good, you're going to come here. So that's where, teams are getting good players from all over the place and, making a quality side from it.
And it's teams like FC Cincinnati that are making that happen. Teams who want to win, we, the fans, bring the culture. We bring the noise. People, they love to bring people to our atmosphere. I mean, that's how we signed Denke, is seeing that. And Kai Kamara for as well. I mean, he's not in the plans going forward, but he's still there because of the atmosphere. And I will say one thing is that Messi has brought more European eyeballs to this league, and we're beginning to get some fans.
Yeah.
To the chagrin, I'm sure, of some Euro snobs who don't listen to this podcast, so I don't
Yeah.
care about them anyway.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about Lucho because Lucho is kind of dropped off since he left. It's really weird. Vasquez leaves, he drops off. Lucho leaves and he drops off. So we'll talk about that next week here
Okay.
on CC Supporter Square, and we will have more points for you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining FCC Supporter Square. The hosts are Matt Warman, Boston Brazel, and Mark Suffolk. The intro song is Quick on the Holster by the Stone Bunnies, and the ending song is Awesome Sauce, also by the Stone Bunnies. Thank you for listening. Please join us again.